the internet lost its mind again, this time over a 12-year-old's temporary tattoos. It started like any other TikTok scroll. North West, the daughter of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, popped up on People's For You pages, dancing, laughing, and showing off a bold new look. But this wasn't the usual lip sync or transition video. Under the flashing concert lights, North had fake face tattoos drawn across her cheeks, icy blue contacts, and even a faux septum piercing. The clip felt playful, creative, maybe even rebellious. But to the internet, it was gasoline waiting for a spark. Within hours, screenshots spread across X, TikTok duets multiplied, and hashtags like Northwest Tattoo started climbing. Some called it self-expression. Others called it too much, too soon. The videos looked innocent enough at first, just a kid having fun at a concert. But when viewers looked closer, that's when everything changed. Northwest, barely 12, appeared in a series of TikToks filmed during an Osama Sun show, wearing fake face tattoos that trailed across her cheeks, icy-colored contact lenses that transformed her look, and a faux septum piercing that caught the stage lights every time she smiled. The camera panned over crowds and flashing strobes, North lip-syncing to the music, full of the confidence only a celebrity kid could carry. It was bold, dramatic, and unapologetically her. But the internet didn't see just a costume. It saw a statement. Within minutes, screenshots were being pulled, reposted, and dissected. Fan pages debated whether this was too mature for a 12-year-old. Comment sections filled with split opinions. Some praised her creativity and self-expression, while others accused Kim of blurring the line between childhood and fame. TikTok duets turned into debates. Hashtags like Northwest and Kim Kardashian parenting trended, and soon, the conversation wasn't about the music or the concert anymore. It was about parenting, influence, and the price of growing up in the public eye. And while the noise kept growing, one person stayed quiet, until Kim herself stepped into the comment section and said exactly what she thought. It started with whispers, then turned into a full-blown digital storm. Comment after comment filled timelines with the same phrases. "She's only 12. Where's Kim? And this is going too far." On X, threads unraveled like wildfire, each one trying to decide whether North's edgy concert look was just harmless fun or proof that fame was pushing her too fast. Parenting experts weighed in. Influencers filmed reaction videos, and TikTok duets split the audience in half. Some users called it a reflection of today's culture. Kids growing up under the spotlight, mimicking the trends they see online. Others took it personally, arguing that no child should have to face that kind of attention, especially one whose every move is amplified by millions. "This isn't normal," one post read. "She's being raised for content." Soon, media outlets joined in, publishing headlines like, "Fans worry about Northwest's new look," and "Is Kim letting her daughter grow up too fast?" The narrative was spiraling. Every frame of those TikToks became a symbol in a bigger debate about parenting, fame, and the internet's obsession with celebrity kids. But as the noise reached its peak, the one voice everyone wanted to hear finally spoke. Kim wasn't about to stay silent. When the headlines turned into hysteria, Kim Kardashian did what she rarely does. She stepped directly into the comment section. Under a post claiming that Northwest's new look is worrying fans, Kim replied from their shared TikTok account with just 5 words. "This is such a non-issue." No press release, no PR team statement, just a calm, almost casual clapback that stopped the noise in its tracks. The tone wasn't angry. It wasn't defensive. It was firm, measured, and slightly weary, like a mom who'd seen this cycle play out one too many times. In that single sentence, Kim made it clear she wasn't going to let strangers on the internet define what confidence, creativity, or childhood should look like for her daughter. Most celebrity parents might have stayed quiet, hoping the controversy would fade on its own. Kim did the opposite. She met it head-on, not to argue but to de-escalate. It was her way of saying, "You don't get to turn my daughter's imagination into a scandal." And just like that, the conversation shifted. People weren't only talking about North's look anymore, they were talking about Kim's parenting, her boundaries, and her willingness to face the internet's scrutiny without blinking. But this moment wasn't just about one comment. It revealed something deeper about how Kim sees her daughter, and what she's chosen to protect above all else. If you'd listened closely to Kim just a few weeks earlier, her reaction made perfect sense. On Alex Cooper's Call Her Daddy podcast, she had already given the world a glimpse into how she sees her daughter, not as a brand extension or a mini-celebrity, but as a creative force of her own. Kim's tone that day wasn't defensive or cautious. It was proud. She described North as so creative and so amazing, someone unafraid to experiment, to test limits, to wear her imagination on her sleeve. Literally. Kim laughed as she recalled moments where North shrugged off online judgment. She'll be like, "Mom, I saw this, and I don't really care if someone says they don't like my blue hair or my outfit," Kim said. She's confident and she's like, "Why would I want to hang out with people who don't like it?" That simple comment revealed a lot. To Kim, North's confidence isn't something to suppress. It's something to protect. Balancing boundaries with freedom is tricky for any parent, but for Kim, it's magnified by millions of eyes watching every move. She knows the world will critique her no matter what she does, so she's chosen a different path, to teach North resilience instead of restraint. When critics see a young girl in fake tattoos, Kim sees an artist experimenting with identity, trying on confidence like a costume she'll eventually grow into. To some, it's controversial parenting. To Kim, it's just preparing her daughter for a world that will never stop judging. But this conversation wasn't only about a mom and her daughter. It tapped into something bigger about the internet itself, and the way it treats children who never asked for fame. Every time Northwest trends, it says as much about us as it does about her. The public's fascination with celebrity kids has turned into a strange kind of ritual. Half concern, half curiosity. People who have never met these children analyze their clothes, their gestures, their words, like they're characters in a show instead of real kids figuring out who they are. Maybe it's because North represents something larger, the next generation growing up entirely online, where self-expression starts before adulthood and judgment never sleeps. Parenting used to happen behind closed doors. Now it unfolds in front of millions of strangers ready to weigh in. Kim isn't just raising a child, she's raising one in a world where every outfit, every dance, every creative experiment can turn into a headline. For many viewers, that's uncomfortable. They see a mother letting her daughter play with boundaries that used to be reserved for grown-ups. But for Kim, and for many parents of Gen Alpha, that's just life in 2025, where identity is shaped by screens and where style is another form of language. It's easy to call it rebellion, or bad parenting, or a cry for attention. But maybe it's not any of those things. Maybe it's simply what growing up looks like when the whole world is watching. A kid trying on confidence, color, and creativity in front of a digital mirror. And as debates raged about what North's look meant, something unexpected happened. The backlash began to shift. Because after Kim spoke, not everyone wanted to criticize anymore. Some people began to understand. Once Kim's comment hit the internet, the tide started to turn. Suddenly, the same comment sections that had been full of outrage began to sound different. Supporters flooded in, writing things like, "She's just expressing herself. Let her be a kid." And, "It's literally face paint, not a rebellion." For many younger fans, North's look wasn't shocking. It was relatable. They saw a confident preteen experimenting with fashion, the same way they once did with glitter eyeliner or Halloween filters. To them, it was harmless creativity, a reminder that confidence can start young. But not everyone was convinced. Older viewers, especially parents, kept voicing concern, saying it wasn't about the tattoos, but the message. "There's a difference between confidence and adult aesthetics," one user wrote. "The line's getting blurry." It became a generational divide, one side cheering her self-expression, the other warning about overexposure and fame too early. The internet turned into a mirror. everyone seeing their own reflection in the debate. And somewhere between all the opinions, the real story got lost. North had moved on to her next TikTok, laughing, dancing, doing what 12-year-olds do. Kim had said her piece and returned to her life. Yet the audience kept arguing, long after the moment passed. Because the truth is, the internet sees what it wants to see. And sometimes, it forgets that behind every trending headline is just a kid trying to have fun. When the noise finally faded, what remained was Kim's quiet message, a call for grace. Not defiance, not dismissal, just a reminder that parenting in public isn't the same as parenting in private. Kim has built a career in the spotlight, but she knows the difference between performance and protection. In moments like this, she isn't the headline-hungry celebrity people imagine. She's a mother trying to let her daughter grow up without being torn apart by strangers who think they know better. North, meanwhile, keeps being North, curious, expressive and unbothered by what anyone thinks. Her fake tattoos will wash off, the contact lenses will come out, but that spark of confidence Kim talks about, that's what she's trying to nurture. The internet might see rebellion, but Kim sees imagination. A kid testing the edges of her own creativity in a world that loves to comment but rarely understands. And maybe that's the lesson hiding beneath the noise. Maybe the problem isn't a 12-year-old's tattoos. Maybe it's how fast we judge a child we've never met.